The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law number 28. Enter action with boldness. If you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will infect your execution. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid. In May of 1925, 5 of the most successful dealers in the French scrap metal business found themselves invited to an official but highly confidential meeting in the most luxurious hotel in Paris. Bursting with curiosity, the men met the host, General Director Monsieur Lustig. He explained that the government had planned to destroy the Eiffel Tower and the metal would be sold to the highest bidder. Lustig gave them all the possible information they needed, not leaving out one tiny detail. As to why, he explained the Eiffel Tower needed many repairs, as was recently in the newspapers. The maintenance costs had grown, and in times of the crisis they faced, many Parisians would be delighted to see it go. Lustig provided them with sheets of government stationery filled with figures such as the tonnage of the tower's metal. As they calculated possible profits they could make from selling the metal, they grew increasingly euphoric. The businessmen were then driven to the Eiffel Tower in a limo, where Lustig would continue his speech. It all seemed so real, too big of a target, too extraordinary to not be real, way too bold. Several days after the offers were submitted, one of the 5, a Monsieur P, received notice that his bid was the winner and that to secure the sale he should come to the suite at the hotel within 2 days, bearing a certified check for more than 250,000 francs, the equivalent of $1 million today. However, Monsieur P started having doubts. The whole thing seemed a bit odd, suspicious to say the least. Why, for example, did they meet in a hotel and not in an official government building? Why hadn't he heard of the officials? Upon arrival, Monsieur Lustig, a master con artist, robbed Monsieur P not only from his hesitations, but from all the money he had bid on the Eiffel Tower. When Monsieur P realized he was scammed, it was no option for him to go to the police. His reputation would have been destroyed, causing business suicide. Everyone would laugh at him, pointing to the man who thought he was in all seriousness buying the Eiffel Tower. Amazingly, the story does not end here. Monsieur Lustig returned to Paris 6 months later and sold the Eiffel Tower once more for a sum in francs equivalent today to over $1.5 million. Boldness in the truest of its forms. Largeness of scale deceives the human eye. It distracts and awes us, and is so self-evident that we cannot imagine there is any illusion or deception afoot. Asking for more puts the other person on the defensive, cuts out the nibbling effect of compromise and doubt, and overwhelms with its boldness. This is the story of Ivan the Terrible. In 1533, Vasily, the Grand Duke of Moscow and ruler of a semi-united Russia, proclaimed his 3-year-old son Ivan IV as his successor. Until Ivan reached his majority, however, his mother Helena would have the ruling hand. She sought out help from her trusted friend Prince Ivan Obolensky to help her rule. The Boyar clan, the opposite party, poisoned Helena and had Obolensky starved to death in prison. At the age of 8, Ivan was now a despised orphan. The boyars would treat him roughly, dress him up in robes with a scepter, mocking him, beating and banishing his only friend. He'd roam the palace, ill-clothed and hiding from the boyars. He remained strictly silent throughout all of this. They thought their plan had worked. They had crushed the little man. Ivan was no longer a threat. They could ignore him. On December 29th, 1543, Ivan turned 13 and asked Prince Andrei Shuisky, the head of the boyars, to come to his room. When the prince arrived, the room was filled with palace guards. Ivan pointed with his finger, ordering Andrei's arrest, death, and that his body be thrown to the bloodhounds in the royal canal. Over the next few days, Ivan had all of Andrei's close associates arrested and banished. The boyars now stood in mortal terror of the young future Ivan the Terrible, who had planned and waited for 5 years to take revenge with this one swift and bold act that would secure his power for decades to come. I've separated the theory of this law into a second part because it would have been a real drag to animate in the same way and not at all pleasing to the eye. And also because the average attention span is far less than 4 minutes. So don't miss out on the rest to understand what's behind Monsieur Lustig's incredible con and Ivan the Terrible's bloodthirsty boldness, through which he would later earn his name. As always, thanks for watching.